There's a kind of pain that doesn't show up on the surface. No visible wounds, no dramatic breakdown, just a quiet, persistent ache that sits in the chest, heavy and unnamed. It whispers in the early morning hours when sleep won't come. It lingers during moments that should feel normal but somehow don't anymore. And the strangest part? There's no clear reason for it. Nothing catastrophic happened. Nothing ended. Yet something inside feels fundamentally different. Maybe it started subtly. A gradual pulling away from things that used to matter. Conversations that once flowed now feel forced. Routines that brought comfort now feel hollow. Dreams that once burned bright now flicker like distant stars, barely visible. And through it all, there's this gnawing sensation. Something is wrong, but pointing to what exactly remains impossible. It's like living with a bruise that nobody else can see but that colors every single moment. The temptation is strong to push through it, to ignore it, to pretend everything is fine. After all, that's what's expected. Smile, function, keep going. But late at night, alone with the silence, the truth emerges. This pain is real. It's taking up space, and no amount of distraction makes it disappear. It's not depression exactly. It's not anxiety exactly. It's something deeper, something that feels like the soul itself is trying to communicate through discomfort. What if this pain isn't random? What if it's not a sign that something is broken, but a sign that something is breaking open? If this ache feels familiar, if this unnamed heaviness has become a constant companion, then subscribe now. Hit the bell, because this channel speaks to the frequency that's shifting inside, and this video will show what that pain is actually doing. Stay until the end. This isn't just information. This is recognition. There are thoughts that live in the shadows. Thoughts too vulnerable to voice, too confusing to explain. Like the realization that joy doesn't arrive the way it used to. That accomplishments feel empty. That praise bounces off rather than sinking in. On the outside, there's functioning. Maybe even thriving by external standards, but internally there's a distance. A separation. As if watching life through glass rather than living inside it. The contradiction is maddening. Wanting to connect but feeling safer in isolation. Craving change but fearing what that change might cost. Desiring peace but somehow more comfortable with the familiar chaos. It's like being split into two different people. The one who shows up for the world, and the one who exists in the quiet spaces between obligations. And those two versions rarely meet. They speak different languages, want different things, live in different realities. Sometimes there's a flash of anger that has no clear target, or sudden tears triggered by something insignificant, or numbness that blankets everything, making it impossible to feel much of anything at all. And the question that circles endlessly, what is happening to me? Because nothing dramatic occurred. No trauma that can be pointed to. No loss that explains the grief. Just this persistent sense that something fundamental shifted, and there's no going back to before. Nobody knows about the internal negotiations that happen daily, the bargaining with the self to just get through another day, the silent conversations where excuses get made for why showing up fully feels impossible right now, the private moments of wondering if anyone else has ever felt this specific kind of lost. This isn't weakness, this isn't failure, but it feels lonely, deeply, profoundly lonely. And that loneliness lives in the space where words fail to reach. Here's what needs to be understood first. Nothing is broken. This isn't a malfunction. This isn't evidence of inadequacy or spiritual failure. What's being experienced right now is transition. And transition, by its very nature, is uncomfortable. It's the space between who someone was and who they're becoming. And that space? It's supposed to feel disorienting. It's supposed to feel heavy, because something real is happening beneath the surface. Every person who awakens to a deeper level of consciousness goes through this. Every soul that outgrows its old container feels the pressure of expansion before feeling the freedom of it. The pain isn't punishment. It's not a sign that something went wrong along the way. It's the natural consequence of growth happening in places that can't be seen. Like a seed breaking through soil. The breaking is necessary. The pressure is part of the process. This pain is common, not in the sense that it's ordinary, but in the sense that it's shared. Countless others are moving through this exact frequency shift right now, feeling the same unnamed heaviness, the same quiet desperation for something to make sense again. The difference is that most people don't talk about it. They suffer silently, believing they're alone in it. But the truth? This is one of the most human experiences there is. The growing pains of consciousness evolution. Nothing is wrong here. This isn't weakness. This isn't failure. This isn't evidence of being damaged or lesser. It's evidence of being alive, of being sensitive enough to feel when internal shifts are occurring, of being aware enough to know that the old ways aren't working anymore. And that awareness, as painful as it is actually the beginning of something profound. The pain isn't the problem. The pain is the teacher. There comes a moment when the weight becomes undeniable, when pushing through is no longer possible, when the facade cracks and what's underneath demands attention. It's not a dramatic collapse, it's more like a quiet surrender, a realization that something inside has to change because continuing like this isn't sustainable anymore. The body knows it. The heart knows it. Even when the mind resists on some cellular level, the truth is clear. This is the breaking point. Maybe it arrived suddenly, a random Tuesday when everything felt too heavy to carry. Or maybe it built gradually, like pressure accumulating until there was no more room for it. Either way, the message is the same. What worked before doesn't work anymore. The coping mechanisms that got someone through the past few years suddenly feel insufficient. The distractions that used to numb the discomfort don't land the same way. The old identity, the old patterns, the old ways of being, they're all revealing themselves as costumes that no longer fit. This isn't regression, even though it might feel like moving backward, even though there might be shame about falling apart or not being strong enough. But here's the truth. Things don't fall apart. They fall into place. The structures that are crumbling, they were never meant to last forever. They were scaffolding, temporary support for a version of self that was learning, evolving, preparing for something more aligned. The rupture happened internally, because the internal landscape is where all transformation begins. Nothing external needs to change first. The shift is happening in frequency, in vibration, in the way energy moves through the body and consciousness. And that shift, while invisible to others, is earth-shattering on the inside. This is the moment where explanation is sought, where clarity becomes more valuable than comfort, where the question shifts from, how do I stop feeling this, to, what is this feeling trying to tell me? So let's talk about what's actually happening, because this pain isn't random. It's not chaos. It's reorganization. The human system, body, mind, energy, operates on frequency. Everything is vibration. Thoughts are vibration. Emotions are vibration. Even physical pain is the body's way of signaling that something in the energetic field needs attention. And when that field is shifting, when it's upgrading, when it's releasing old patterns and integrating new ones, discomfort is inevitable. The aura, that electromagnetic field surrounding the body, is directly influenced by internal state. When someone is in transition, when old beliefs are dissolving and new awareness is emerging, the aura becomes more sensitive. It picks up on things it didn't notice before. It reacts to environments, people, situations that feel misaligned. And that sensitivity, while overwhelming at times, is actually a sign of expansion. The field is refining itself, becoming more attuned, more discerning. This is where the law of attraction comes in, but not in the way it's often taught. It's not about forcing manifestations or repeating affirmations while feeling nothing. It's about understanding that internal frequency determines external experience. When internal chaos is present, when there's resistance to the pain, when fighting against what is, the frequency emitted is fragmented, and fragmented frequency attracts fragmented experiences. But when the pain is acknowledged, when it's allowed to be there without judgment, something shifts. Presence is the key, not positive thinking, not spiritual bypassing. Presence, being with what is, allowing the discomfort to move through without needing to fix it or escape it. Because this pain is energy in motion. It's old patterns being released, old identities being shed, old frequencies being transmuted. And the more resistance there is to that process, the more it hurts. But when there's surrender to it, when there's trust that something intelligent is happening beneath the surface, the pain transforms from enemy to guide. Imagine a snake shedding its skin. Before the old layer comes off, there's discomfort, tightness, restriction. The snake doesn't try to force it. It doesn't judge itself for needing to shed. It simply allows the natural process to unfold. And once the old skin is gone, what's underneath is more vibrant, more alive, more aligned with what the snake is becoming. That's what's happening now. The old skin is loosening, and it doesn't feel good, but it's necessary. Think about water being purified. Before it's clean, everything that doesn't belong rises to the surface. Sediment, debris, things that were hidden in the depths. It looks messy. It looks worse before it looks better. But that's not contamination spreading. That's contamination being released. And the same thing is happening internally right now. The pain is bringing up everything that needs to be seen, felt, and released. The mess is part of the purification. Consider a forest after a fire. It looks destroyed, barren, dead. But beneath the ash, seeds are already germinating. The fire cleared space. It removed what was overgrown, what was blocking light from reaching the forest floor. And within months, new growth emerges. Stronger, more resilient, more diverse. The pain being felt right now is that fire. It's clearing space, burning away what no longer serves, and what will grow in its place will be more authentic, more aligned, more true. And finally, think about breath. When breath is held, tension builds. The body screams for release. But the moment exhalation happens, there's relief, ease, space. This pain is the held breath of the soul. It's the accumulation of everything that wasn't expressed, wasn't honored, wasn't allowed to move, and now it's asking for release, not through force, but through surrender, through trusting that letting go won't destroy anything essential. It will only make room for what's been waiting to emerge. And now the picture becomes clearer. This pain was never the enemy. It was never evidence of failure. It was and is the mechanism of transformation. Every person who has ever evolved beyond their previous limitations has walked through this fire. Every soul that stepped into greater alignment felt this exact discomfort. It's not unique, but it is deeply personal, because the specific shape of the pain reveals exactly what needs attention. The confusion? That's not disorientation. That's recalibration. The old map of reality doesn't match the new territory being entered. The old beliefs about how life works, about who the self is, about what's possible, they're all being questioned. And that questioning creates temporary instability. But instability isn't collapse. It's flexibility. It's the readiness to reorganize based on new information, new awareness, new truth. The aura didn't weaken. It became more refined, more capable of detecting what's aligned and what's not, more sensitive to energies that drain versus energies that nourish. What felt like loss of resilience was actually an upgrade in discernment. The ability to feel everything so intensely right now, that's not fragility. That's deeper presence. That's being awake to the subtle frequencies that were always there but were previously ignored. Nothing was lost through this process. Everything that fell away was meant to fall away. Every relationship that shifted, every interest that faded, every version of self that dissolved, all of it was part of the shedding. And underneath all that shedding is the truth. The essence remained. The core self, the authentic frequency, the unique vibration that is irreducible and eternal, that never left. It just got clearer, more visible, more accessible, and the pain was the chisel removing everything that obscured it. Take a deep breath, because what's about to land might change everything. This pain isn't happening to anyone. It's happening for them. Every moment of heaviness, every wave of grief, every flash of despair, all of it is intelligent. All of it is purposeful. All of it is shaping something that couldn't be shaped any other way. The pain is the sculptor, and what's being sculpted is a more authentic, more aligned, more truthful version of self. The isolation that felt like abandonment, that was space being created for reconnection with the true self. The confusion that felt like losing ground, that was old certainties dissolving to make room for deeper knowing. The numbness that felt like death, that was protection while massive internal rewiring occurred. None of it was wrong. None of it was evidence of failure. All of it was the soul's way of saying, something greater is emerging, and you need to be still while it happens. For so long, pain has been villainized, treated as the enemy, something to be avoided, suppressed, medicated away. But pain is information. It's feedback. It's the body and soul communicating what needs attention. And this specific pain, this unnamed heaviness that's been carried for months or years, it's not random suffering. It's purposeful transformation. It's the breakdown that precedes breakthrough. It's the dark night that comes before dawn. Everything makes sense now. The reason for the wait, the reason for the struggle, the reason for feeling so different from everyone else. It's because something real was happening. A genuine shift in frequency, a legitimate upgrade in consciousness. And those don't happen through comfort. They happen through pressure, through friction, through the kind of pain that forces everything false to fall away until only truth remains. This pain is shaping, and what it's shaping is ready to emerge. So here's what can be done with this understanding. Not to make the pain disappear, but to work with it, to honor it, to let it complete its work without unnecessary suffering. This is a simple practice, 4 steps. It takes less than 5 minutes. But when done with intention, it shifts the relationship with pain from resistance to collaboration. First, find a quiet space. Sit or lie down. Close the eyes. Place both hands on the chest, over the heart. Feel the warmth. Feel the rise and fall of breath, and say internally or out loud, I acknowledge this pain. I honor what it's teaching me. I trust what it's shaping. Say it slowly, 3 times. Let the words sink in. This isn't about believing it fully right away. It's about planting the seed of a new relationship with discomfort. Second, as the hands remain on the chest, begin to breathe into the pain. Not away from it, into it. Imagine the breath moving directly to where the heaviness sits. Maybe it's in the chest, maybe the stomach, maybe the throat. Wherever it lives, breathe into that space. With each inhale, imagine bringing gentleness, curiosity, acceptance. With each exhale, imagine releasing the need to fix it, change it, understand it. Just breathe. Just be with it. For 60 seconds minimum. Third, when ready, ask the pain a question. Not out loud necessarily, but sincerely. Ask, what are you here to show me? And then listen. Not with the mind trying to analyze or figure it out, but with the heart, with the body. Sometimes an answer comes as an image. Sometimes as a sensation. Sometimes as a knowing without words. And sometimes there's no answer at all. That's okay too. The act of asking shifts the dynamic from victim to participant. Fourth, before ending the practice, place one hand on the belly and one on the heart. Ground into the body. Feel the connection to earth. Feel the support beneath. And affirm, this pain is temporary. What it's shaping is permanent. I am becoming more of who I truly am. Then open the eyes slowly. Move gently back into the day. And carry this understanding. The pain isn't the enemy. It's the midwife. And something real is being born. If this moment has been reached, if these words have traveled the full distance, then something inside shifted. Something loosened. Something that was gripped tight began to soften. That's not coincidence. That's resonance. That's truth recognizing itself across the distance between these words and the heart receiving them. The pain that's been carried isn't meaningless. It's meaningful, deeply, profoundly meaningful, and it's been shaping something that the world needs. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more fully who was always there beneath the conditioning, beneath the fear, beneath the pain. The discomfort wasn't a detour. It was the path. Every person who has ever lived with depth, who has created from authenticity, who has touched others with their presence, they walked through this fire. They felt this exact weight, and they allowed it to shape them rather than harden them. The journey doesn't end here. The pain might not disappear tomorrow, but the relationship with it has changed. It's no longer the enemy. It's no longer evidence of failure. It's the chisel, the fire, the pressure that's creating something beautiful. And every time the heaviness returns, there's now a choice. Resist it and suffer more, or breathe into it and let it do its work. That choice, made again and again, changes everything. This channel exists for this reason, to speak to those who are being shaped, to remind that the pain has purpose, to hold space for the transformation that happens in silence, in solitude, in the depths where no one else can see. Every video here is a mirror for those who are brave enough to look at what hurts and ask what it's teaching. That's rare. That's valuable. That's worth honoring. If something moved inside while watching this, don't ignore it. That movement is the pain doing its work. That movement is the self waking up to its own transformation. Subscribe, hit the bell, walk with us. Because here, pain isn't pathologized, it's honored. Here, the process isn't rushed, it's respected. And here, the truth is simple. This pain is shaping something extraordinary, and that something is already emerging.